is probably a little bit quieter than it was last year, but actually what I found instead is it's the quality of the conversations. There's actually been much better conversations, much more purpose around doing things, making things happen, whether that's investing, capital inflows, deals. So to me, actually the takeaway is some really good and quality conversations. No, I mean, I think when we entered 2026, we very much felt this was the year for deployment. And actually, despite things that are happening globally, I still think that's the case. We've come out, we announced earlier on this week, a platform in Berlin for housing, and particularly that need for quality, affordable housing absolutely remains. The same for offices, best in class, but at the same time, accessible offices. The fundamentals of what we do remain. And so actually, I think we feel this year we will end up increasing our deployment, mainly into those two sectors. But actually, I still think retail could be interesting later on in the year.
I think investors have really embraced the opportunity of investing in the living sector. They see that as a very strong opportunity, and they're looking to come back into the market to bring much needed housing, be within the affordable space or the private space. And this is being very much reflected by our latest deal in Berlin, where we have done a joint venture with Cosimo to develop over 2,000 units over the space of 3 years.
Investors look at how well invested PATRIZIA is already in a fairly diverse spread of assets. They want to hear from us about what we are seeing within our own portfolio, the shape of change from occupiers, what they're seeking to see in terms of specific product definition. What PATRIZIA brings really is access to the type of asset they're seeking to get invested into, but importantly also with the local expertise to deliver the right product in whichever sector it might be.
So I think one takeaway is always actually how can we improve? We should constantly be trying to improve. The second again is actually what we're doing in the market is resonating. The strategies we're coming forward with, we're finding interesting product, we're finding interesting pipelines. So we know that actually we can continue to deploy more. And as linked to that, then probably third is that this resonates with our investors. The strategies we're talking around, particularly as the strategies around living and the housing crisis in Europe and globally, resonates with our investors. They see that this is the time to be investing, and they can actually address that crisis and actually generate a good return.
But it's clear that as we start a new cycle, investors are going to focus on the most established sectors. That will be residential and student housing. And I expect that as the cycle and the capital grows and we move through the cycle, new means of living, be micro-living and others, will come at the forefront of investors' interest. From a PATRIZIA perspective, we are very much focused on those traditional sectors, the residential and student sector, within the value add and the core space. And we look forward to making strong investments over the next few years.
But I think there are definitely the recognition that there are some tailwinds now that are encouraging. There is a desire to look beyond the traditional, certainly from a UK perspective, the traditional meds, beds and sheds dynamic. We're seeing a much greater desire to look at the office sector, but a cautious desire to look at that. And that's a theory and a strategy that we very much buy into as well. So I've been encouraged by a lot of the feedback we've been getting from capital and also from those who are close to the occupiers that's encouraged us in the belief that that is the correct route for us to go down.